PK52, the Saturday morning meeting. Go a little nostalgia today. Let's start about back in the day. So started selling Toyotas in the 80s. And, you know, prior to me selling cars, it was kind of buyer beware. You bought a used car, you were on your own, there was no guarantee or warranty. Early enough into the car buying deal on the new car side, if you bought a new car, you know, you had risk. There was no warranty on the car. I mean, it was a new car and it was supposed to operate properly, but most of Americans, let's say back in the 40s and the 50s, had the ability to work on their own cars because that was a requirement because cars broke down. Here we are in 2018 going into 2019, and virtually all the manufacturers out there build a decent product that should last for you. So I guess I'm building the car so that I won't have to spend any kind of manufacturer warranty payback for a flaw in the car, at least until the warranty runs out. And some of the jokes with some of the manufacturers are, you know, the day the warranty runs out, that's the day your car is going to break. Of course, for decades, Toyota's not had that situation, and that's the reason why people buy Toyotas. The 90s were an interesting time. We were trying to get people to move away from retail purchase to lease, and one of the biggest reasons was we ran through the 70s and early 80s where the interest rates were gigantic. And again, a lot of you guys that are watching this have been in the business for a while, but you haven't been in the business for decades, and you've never really done a car loan where the buy rate at the bank for somebody with good credit was 18%. So cars were cheaper. You get a car for $10,000, so the payments were a little bit lower. But you take a $40,000 or $50,000 vehicle now and you put it at 18%, the majority of Americans can't afford that car. So now we're fighting, you know, customers come in, you know, do you have 0%? No, I have 0.9%, which is less than 1%. Oh, really? You can't do better than that? And I'm sitting there going like, wow. I come from the day where, you know, if the dollar devaluates 3 to 4% a year, and you're getting an interest rate lower than the devaluation of the U.S. currency, then that's a pretty good car loan. But then again, you know, it is what it is, and you're sell within the times that you are. So in the 90s, in order to get somebody's payment low enough, leasing became prevalent. And there was a giant amount of reasons to lease. I mean, I could go through a 3-hour audio session, video session with you guys about why you should lease versus retail, new cars. You're getting a new car, you're a new car buyer. I could go through all that. But the big deal was it got the payment down to where it was affordable. And a lot of customers had no idea what the functions of a lease were, how to dispose of a lease. All they knew was, if I can get that $199 payment, I'm taking the car home today. And if we could get them bought on a lease, they leased the car. My biggest statement to a customer, and I knew they understood this, was if you ever traded a car in and you had negative equity, so you rolled that negative equity into your next car deal, nobody can think that's a good idea. You're $5,000 out around, you're $5,000 reversed, you're upside down by $5,000. You don't have any money down. So you buy a $20,000 car, roll the $5,000 worth of negative equity into the next car loan, plus your taxes, plus your fees, so you're at 100 and 125% advance on the MSRP of that car loan. So then you don't understand why 3 years from now, when you're ready for another new car, how can I be upside down? And the big joke with me was customers would come in and I'd see they had an equity position, and I'd ask them, I said, how much did you put down last time? They go, yeah, I think I put down $5,000. So, well, good news, you have $5,000 worth of equity. So the money they put down was their equity, and then I would come back and say, well, then you probably ought to put $5,000 down again. So in the 90s, that was prevalent. I've got to get you to a payment. Well, it doesn't change anything now. Still got to get you to a payment. As interest rates start to go up again, they're creeping up. New cars are going to start becoming unaffordable for some people. I mean, not everybody wants to have a payment well over $500 a month, plus tax, plus insurance on their primary car, and then have a secondary car financed also. So this certified deal becomes giant in the next couple of years. So I've got this piece of paper right here. The reason why I could get people to lease back in the 90s was I could guarantee the value of the car at the end. So if Toyota put a 60% residual on something and it was a $20,000 car, then the guaranteed future value or the residual of the car was $12,000. If they drove the car within the miles, if there was no wear and tear, then even if the car was worth $8,000, they could drop the car off at the dealership at that $12,000 mark and they would never be upside down. Can you imagine a year of selling cars, managing a dealership or running a dealership where no customer came in with any negative equity at all? Can you imagine the profitability, and could you imagine how happy the customer would be with the situation into their brand new or their pre-owned car? So that was the big deal in the 90s for the lease. I could look at somebody and I could show them the guarantee to walk away from negative equity. So that the payment that they had for the term that they had, I could show them exactly mathematically what it would cost them to drive the car. On a retail deal, I could never tell them that, because I could sit there, here's your payment, and here's where you're going to be at 36 months, but there is no guarantee of what the market is going to bear on your car. If there's a recall, if they discontinue the car. Think about this for right now. Think about Ford. Think about all the people that are in 72-month 0% interest loans on a Ford Fusion or a Taurus. And Ford's going to walk away from those cars. So in a couple of years, you know, they're not selling these cars at all, and I'm trying to trade back in a Fusion, and they go, here's what it's worth. You go, whoa, it's been a really good car. So, man, we don't make these cars anymore. We're not even in the car business anymore, Ford will say, and here's the value of your car. So now, what are you, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 upside down? You didn't know that was coming. You know, 2 years ago when you bought that Fusion, and, you know, it was a better deal than a Toyota, you said, look, I'm saving money. I'm not buying a Toyota. I'm going to buy a Ford. And then all of a sudden the Ford walks away from that. I mean, where's your guarantee? So back to the certified program. The technician signs this form. They sign it. The technician has done this 160 plus assurance form, and they signed it. So that means that there's a certified Toyota technician in your dealership that tells the customer without meeting them that everything on this form they did. That's eliminating risk right there. If they did this form properly, Toyota's thought this out. They've spent some time researching this. If everything passed on this, then you should be buying a fantastic car. Not only does the technician sign it, the service director signs it. If there's an issue with this car, I can walk back into the dealership and say, is that your service manager? Did he sign this? Did he approve this car? This car was a no-risk car. That's a signature. And then the person that bought the car initially from an auction, took the car in trade, looked over the car, the person that made the initial decision to proceed with a certified car, the used car manager signed this. It depends on how you present this. It depends on how you sell this. What's the value of this? If the actual value of the car is $20,000, how much more valuable would it be if you had 3 dealership associates, a technician and 2 managers, that would put their name on the line saying that we have certified this car through the standards of Toyota Motor North America, the region within the area that I'm selling the car, whether it's New York, CAT, Denver, San Francisco, Portland region, Gulf States, SET, keep going. Technician, service director, used car manager, what's the value? What's the value of making a used car no risk? Sell the value of the program. Your dealership wouldn't have certified the car unless they felt like it was a premium car. Premium cars bring a premium price. Separate the cars. There is a difference between a pre-owned car and a certified car. There is a difference between a certified car and a new car. Used cars are not certified. Certified are not used. All in the mix. It should be a third franchise. The customer's going to pay a premium for these cars. The premium is not that it's a 3-year-old Camry with 40,000 miles on it. That's not the premium. Toyotas are premium cars to begin with. The premium is what you did at your dealership following the guidelines of the certified program to change the outcome of the car. Sell the program, ask for the premium. Remember, in America, if you make something look expensive, then it is expensive. PK52 with a tip, the Saturday morning meeting.